5 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. All this talk about immigrants. We forget that almost all of us have an immigrant in our ancestry. And if you think about what their life must have been like when they first arrived here, our next guest has a story similar to my own family's. I had my mom's parents came here by way of Ellis Island back in 1925, I believe, in my case. The things that they had to do in order to survive in this land of opportunity is evidence that the land of opportunity is exactly that, a land of opportunity. You have to take your own life into your own hands and then realize that that opportunity is there, but you have to make it work for you. It doesn't just get gifted to you, as some people make that mistake, including those of us who were born here. We make that mistake all the time, thinking, well, where's my opportunity? Well, It's right there. It's right in your face. Sometimes we don't see it, and sometimes we have to look back to our elders to have a clearer view of what we should be doing with our lives. Marc Demetriou, I heard you mention to him that it was a touching book, and I think so too. It's called Lessons from My Grandfather, Wisdom for Success in Business and Life. Marc himself has established himself with some really impressive credentials. He's a top-rated speaker. He has appeared at the Mastermind Summit. He's an authority on real estate and finance. He received the 40 Under 40 Award in New Jersey. He's a co-host on the Real Estate and Money Show, which I don't know if it's a radio show, Robin?
Not sure.
Lessons from My Grandfather is the title of the book. Marc Demetriou, good morning, sir.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity to be on the show, and those little beginning of announcements that you just made is really humbling, but thank you.
Where are you? Where are you calling from?
I'm actually calling from New Jersey, North Jersey right now.
Oh, okay. So where did your dad immigrate from? He was 16, right?
So actually my grandfather. I'm
sorry.
That's okay. No, it's okay. He actually left Cyprus at 16 years old because he purely wanted to be something and make something of himself, but also to be able to make money and be able to send back to his family, which he never stopped doing, by the way.
Wow.
Never stopped doing.
I'm guessing...
And
I was going to say, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm guessing you've gone over to Ellis Island and tried to imagine what that moment was like when he stepped off the boat.
Well, I've been there several times. You know, the inspirational part about why I wrote this book, you know, I didn't have to write this book, but I had to write the book because he was such an inspirational figure to me, my best friend, my mentor, other than being a grandfather as well. He retired at 60 when I was just born, so for 37 years I had a gift of him in my life. So I wanted to write this story to give an inspirational, motivational success book to all ages, 17 to 40, to have them understand how to be successful and have a mentor like my grandfather to be part of their life, and also 40 and up to understand about life in general, to succeed in life, and still be a mentor to their kids or grandkids, or anybody around them.
Yeah.
His story's amazing, so when you ask me those few questions, I'll get into it.
Yeah, we'll do that right now. Let me ask you this, though, before we do that. Did his influence on you not kick in until you were an adult, or was it always influencing you even as a young man?
It was always influencing me because I was always struck by the fact that this gentleman at 16 years old was able to leave home with nothing and just be able to say, I'm going to make something of myself. I'm out of here. And think about the magnitude of that by yourself.
Really?
He went to Greece for 2 years, London for 2 years, and came to America in 1929 on November 15th, 3 weeks after the stock market crash and the darkest days of the America that we know, that started the Depression. And survived through that, food lines and, shining shoes, and just retired as 60 millionaire. So just, it's amazing to me. So it's such an inspiration to me that, I always felt like I could always get ahead, always forge forward, just because that inspiration was unbelievable to me, always.
What would his life have been like if he stayed in Cyprus?
Well, it's funny you say that because it's in my book too as well. Is that his father, my grandfather, was the horse and buggy taxi guy for the island. So he would be gone for days to weeks at a time, taking people around the island with his horse and carriage.
Wow.
And so for him, he was actually going to school to be a pharmacist, because he knew there was one pharmacist in the general area that made a lot of money. And his dad pulled him out of school in the high school years and said, I can't really afford the 10 cents a year anymore, and you need to come help with the horses and your family, your sisters and brothers, and when I'm not here, your mother, and take care of the horses. So he didn't want that life.
Yeah,
and he actually, in the middle of the night, went to a ship and said, I'm going to feed your animals, take me to Greece. and his dad found out that he was leaving and gave him a couple of dollars out of his pocket, rode out to the boat and said, "You have my heart. I bless you. I know why you're going.
Oh, my gosh.
I wish you well."
Oh, that's
Think
heartbreaking.
about that.
Yeah, that's heartbreaking.
Sad.
Yeah.
All right, so tell me about his life once he got here. You said he shined shoes?
So, yeah, so as soon as he came into, off Ellis Island, he happened to know one other Greek gentleman, and he pretty much, they were in one apartment, 7 guys. They slept on the bed one night a week. The other night they were on the floor, and they shined shoes, and then he got really his first break as a busboy. And the story started from there, because from a busboy to a waiter to another waiter, and I'll accelerate real quickly through that, is that he kept getting opportunities because the guy he was, this 5'2", little happy, outgoing, personable guy that people loved. He was a good worker, hard worker, honest guy, positive guy. So he got opportunities throughout, but he was in the hospitality business his whole life, and ended up the last career path for him was one of the managers of the West Side Tennis Club in Flushing, Queens in the 50s and 60s, where all the U.S. Opens and presidents came and actors. So he mixed with the socialites, the elites, and he learned from them all. It's a really amazing story.
And you have so much wisdom in the book from your grandfather. I like one of the quotes is my favorite. It's not what you look at, but what you see.
Yeah, I tell you, everything in life, everyone has perspective and what they want out of life. What success is to somebody is not the same as another. What you want out of life is not the same as another. So, getting up every day is a blessing in itself, and I respect and appreciate that. So starting with the day, and you have 24 hours in every day to do what you want to do in life, and success is a choice. Life is a choice. So how you act, how you are, your attitude, your persona, how you see things, is it half empty or half full? Is it a cloudy day or a sunny day? How is life to you? So these things are just, it's so impactful, and people have to realize life is hard. There's tragedy, there's setbacks, there's disappointments, there's obstacles in life. This is life. And if you're not trained to understand this life is difficult, that you need to work hard to get ahead in life, and sacrifice and commitment, you'll never get ahead. So go ahead.
I like the fact that you are telling a very personal story, and yet the reader will be able to apply your grandfather's lessons to themselves as well. This is not lessons from your grandfather. This is lessons that I might call it lessons from Marc's grandfather, because I can apply those lessons to myself as well.
Right. And I wrote, and I really spent so much time in the last couple of years, really, really rewriting. I wanted to give something to people that was both inspirational, motivational, and success-based, with real-life stuff on how to be successful, almost like Success Made Simple, but put a story throughout it and infuse my grandfather with the entire book. So they have a piece of him, a piece of me, and this masterpiece to say, here is really a roadmap, a guiding principle book to understand what it takes. So, yes, it was really with all that, and including the success I've had in my life. So I shared really not necessarily all about me, but it's what I learned through him, really.
Right. So the speaking engagements you do, when you're up on the platform, on the podium, and on the stage, whatever, are you the embodiment of your grandfather in a way?
Without a doubt, without a doubt. My parents were wonderful mentors also, so I don't want to downplay them. I mentioned them a little in the book, but since it's mainly about my grandfather, I am him without a doubt. In fact, my family's always said, "Oh, you're just like your grandfather. You remind me of your grandfather." It's just that whole work hard, be passionate, be likable, be honest, be humble, help other people. All these things he's taught me. Be careful who you trust. Everything you learn. All these things. Don't even trust yourself. He would say to me, "Be careful who you trust. Don't even trust yourself." And he meant that, because he meant that. And I'll tell you, it's very powerful, because he said you need to have advisors around you, because sometimes you make the wrong decision. So he meant that. He had a lot of beautiful quotes all throughout my book. He was an amazing man, almost like a philosopher in a way. But so I am truly, really a piece of him, a big piece of him. And I've tweaked it in my own way. But yes, absolutely.
You talk about being joyful, because some people go through life, oh, woe is me, I can't do this, and then they ask for help from everybody but don't seem to move forward, and a lot of that is not having joy.
I agree. I have a other than my saying, I like to saying success is a choice. I kind of tagline that, but I also say life is for the living, and I mean that, because we have one opportunity right now. This isn't a dress rehearsal. You know, we don't know what goes on after this life, but
That's
right now,
right.
this is not a dress rehearsal. And every day of my life, and every day of anyone's life that I try to influence, is to be excellent. Have excellence. Be the best you can be. And that goes for everything. It's not just about me either. It's about giving back, helping other people. You know, be mindful of others around you, whether it's helping them get a job or help connect with somebody in business or helping them with business or just helping mentor them in general. You know, bringing people up with you or donating your time or money to charity. You don't have to give money. Sometimes just your time. But people are really in tune with themselves and me, and woe is me, like you said before. I don't like woe is me because, you know, you can change your life any given time of the day, but you know what? It's sacrifice and hard work. You got to be willing to lay out the plan and do it.
I love that. The excitement in your voice, the enthusiasm in what you're saying, as well as how you've written it in the book, is definitely going to charge up some people to get off their butts and actually do something. And I'm wondering how many people realize that the opportunity here in America is not every country, and we have it here, whether you were born here or not. Sometimes I think immigrants get it better than those who are born here. I think they do, because they've seen it, what it can be. They've seen areas of the world that do not offer opportunity.
You know, and it's a very, very good point because there's so much opportunity here. And how's this one? The fact that you can wake up with a roof over your head and a meal on the table, that's a great start to the day. And I look at that and say, could I compare what my grandfather went through? And he could have wound up dead on the street somewhere. And the younger generation of today, you know, I'll use 16 to 40. I wrote this book to give them that, you know, listen, this is an immigrant story. You know, you have a lot going on for you young generation, a lot of opportunity, the internet and books and information. You can learn so much every day and opportunities all around you and mentors and coaches and sports, all these things you have around you. It's amazing to me. You know, I had a paper house since 11 years old. I haven't stopped working. I used to shovel their snow in the winter, and I used to mow the lawn in the summers. That was simplicity. That was money to be made. It was easy.
Yeah.
The younger generation, they're not even out shoveling driveways outside. You don't even see them outside. So I wanted to give them this book to understand, listen, you could get ahead in life and be successful. Here's somebody that did it from nothing. So I kind of want to inspire the youth of America as well as, you know, all ages to understand and enjoy the book.
And that's a very keen observation because it just seems that children now, they have the opportunity since they're born. They go to school to try to get a good education, to have instilled in them to help others and things, but yet some people get out of school and then they get lazy and think they're entitled and they don't want to work for stuff.
And the realization of that is, and I always, you know, here I am at 48 years old, and I look back at everything, most of the things I've done in my life, I've done because I've worked hard at it and sacrifice and commitment and worked at it. It's not easy. Life is not easy. You know what? Being successful is not easy. Or what do you want out of life? And success is different for everybody. I'm all about living below my means. That's my success, because then you beat the rat race. When you're always chasing something bigger and want to spend more money and want to be bigger and bigger than you can be, then that's a shame. You don't enjoying life. That's a different story. But people, you know, have to understand what's important to them.
The things you chose to do in your life, were they influenced by your grandfather?
You know, it's. I would say the overall influence of respecting the dollar, working hard. You know, I couldn't wait to get out of school, have my degree, and start working to make money. But he would always tell me too. My mother told me this a lot too. It's not what you know, it's who you know, and that's such a powerful statement. And I've learned that my whole life. You need to have your education and be smart. You need to be an expert whatever you do in life. I believe in that. Expert and passion together are very powerful. Whatever you do, whatever trade you're in. But the people you know around you, if you're a likable person and you have passion and you're an expert / have passion in what you do, you can't fail. It's magnetizing. People want to be around you. They want to help you. They want to guide you. They want to be with you. And people, the more they realize that, the happier you are, the more positive you are. It's like the universe is surrounding you, and the magnetism, the nature of that is powerful.
And reading your book makes me feel like you're a friend and your grandfather is a friend, especially since the quotes in there by him is just written Charlie at the end and not a name, not anything like that, just Charlie. Like he's a real person.
I love it. And I gave again. I'm like the gift of my grandfather. You know, when he passed away, it was such a, you know, years after, and I missed him every day. It was such a powerful epiphany. I said, I have to share him with the world. I have to share the goodness of him and inspire people all over the world. And that's what I did. And I love the simplicity of just Charlie, because his quotes were phenomenal. And everything he would say, the beliefs he had, it was almost like this built-in philosopher. Elite individual in his head as far as what he learned, but he was a humble guy. And in fact, I would tell you a great quick one. I would always say to him, you have a humble home here in Pompton, New Jersey, and a humble place in Florida. You can travel the world. You can spend money if you want to do. Why aren't you doing more? And he looked at me and he said very seriously, he goes, because Mark, you know what? When you're without and you don't know where your next dollar's coming in or your next meal sometimes, you never want to be without again. And for me to have money in the bank and saved up and live a modest life, I'm the happiest guy in the world. And that was so powerful, man. Powerful.
It really is. Lessons from My Grandfather is the title of the book. Wisdom for Success in Business and Life. Marc Demetriou is the author of the book. The grandfather is his grandfather, Charlie. Yes, I was going to ask you if you could tell us one of your favorite lessons that you learned from your grandfather.
Oh boy, there's so many. There's just so many. I'm gonna highlight this one because this is everything as a human being, what separates you from the pack. Attitude is everything. And there's 15 lessons in here, and there's many more in the book, but that's one that just is a bold statement because attitude is everything. How you act, how you are, how you are individually as a person with other people, how you get up in the morning, how you react to the day. Attitude's everything. And in fact, I have a chapter in the book. One's called Action and Attitude, and there's actually almost 4 pillars in life that are so powerful. Action and attitude. Another chapter is passion and purpose. Think about those words. They're so powerful in their own way, each one of those words.
And purpose is an interesting thing because we don't always know what our purpose is supposed to be, especially as we're maybe in our teens and we're trying to decide what do we want to do with our lives. How did you decide what to do, what your purpose was?
It's interesting you say that. I tell you, everyone. It goes back to you hear this all the time. What's your why? How you're living. What's your why? What do you want out of life? You hear that all the time. And as these young kids that are in college, they talk to counselors, and what do you want to do with your life? Are you a people person? Take those little assessment tests. Are you a people person? Are you sales? Are you trade? But all that's great. But if you come down to the pure essence of what do you want to do in life, what do you want to be in life, success is different for everyone. I told you that before. Some people want a modest house and a nice family and don't want to work too hard. Others want to have, aspire for a plane and a boat or travel the world, whatever it may be. Success is different for everybody in business and life. But for me, truly, when I was, had the mindset, I truly wanted to get out and start making money. And I knew I was good in sales and finance and all that good stuff, and not to bore you with my background per se, but I just was very driven to get out and truly, I can say, because of my grandfather's work ethic as well as mine, I have tremendous work ethic, and I know I have a lot of skill sets to really succeed in whatever I was going to do.
Was there anything philosophically about your grandfather that was a hard pill to swallow? I know in the book he tells you, in order to receive, you must give. In order to live, you must give. So giving is often a hard pill to swallow. People don't get that you have to give in order to receive. I don't know if that's the example or if there might be something else that was a hard pill to swallow, a hard lesson for you to learn.
I don't think, I got to say, there was really no hard lessons because I got to witness him, again, having the blessing of him being around me my whole, literally 37 years of my life, because he was retired. He was with us all the time, mostly. He was Mr. Hospitality. He was Mr. Cordiality. He would give tips to the bus boys, to the other people that would come to give you water on a table. He was like $1 here, $1 there, not big money, but he would acknowledge those people too because they were worthy people.
Sure.
He was at the bottom. So I got to witness all these good things. But I could tell you, really, there was really nothing that he really taught me that was hard to swallow. It was just all good, wholesome stuff,
nice,
which was wonderful.
Yeah,
I mean, he would cut out clippings from articles. He read 3 papers a day, all the years he was retired. And whether he was here or in Florida, he would cut out clippings, either give them to me or mail them to me. But anything to do with life, health, food, business, finance. It was, just a constant mentor in my life. He just always thought of me. It was amazing.
Toward the end of the book, you have a little piece called "The Most Important Habit of All." What is that?
Well, you're asking me a very fueled question because I got to tell you, I'm not saying I forget that part, but let me go back to. You got to give me a little primer here.
Okay.
Well, if you're asking what the most important, I think a habit in general. I mean, you're getting me a loaded question here.
Yeah, let me just read it to you because I was unfair to you. I have always worked to impress my superiors with my willingness to go beyond what was required and to excel, even if it was for the sake of excellence alone, not for a promotion or a raise. Committing to excellence and to being the best for its own sake has set me free. For a best life is to live beyond the norm, the usual, or the expected. Since that is to be you, you must start distinguishing yourself from the moment you become an aware human being, and always remember to accept criticism so that it may allow you to continue to improve, advance, and be the best you can be. Good words right there.
Well, that's a very, very, very powerful paragraph, and that's why I couldn't say one habit, because if you think about what you just read, you read several habits. Be excellent, work hard, be the best you can be. So that's why you threw me off with just one habit. There's a lot of habits.
Is Charlie your mom's dad or your father's dad?
Charlie's my mother's father, correct.
Okay.
And I'm gonna infuse a little twist here as a love story that's part of this whole thing. And I didn't talk about my grandmother too much in the book or on this interview, but really quick story. My grandmother lived next door to my grandfather. They were the richest people on the island of Cyprus. Maids, horses, mansions. We're talking early 1900s.
Wow.
He was a banker. He borrowed money from a very wealthy man and lent out money to the island for business and for infrastructure and industry. Unfortunately, during the Depression, my grandfather came here, and he always joked like he'd marry my grandmother one day. I'll marry you one day. And she's like, yeah, okay, whatever. They were friends, though. The fathers were friends. Poor or rich didn't matter. They were good people, both friends. My grandfather came here. Unfortunately, during the Depression and so on and so forth, the guy that lent the money to my grandfather passed away, and the kids came to him and said, we need our money back. And he said, well, I had an agreement with your father, kind of a handshake, and my money's out on the street. And they said, we don't care, we want it back in 30 days. To make a really horrible story worse, he basically had to leave everything behind. They foreclosed on their house. They came to America with nothing. And my grandfather found them, understood they were coming, got the guy a job here. Unfortunately, not a really remedial job. It was a remedial job. And ended up marrying my grandmother. To talk about a love story infused in his life. What's the chances of that happening is beyond.
That's a
beyond.
Beautiful story.
Wow. And the people that were greedy, they probably, lost everything anyway. Because that's karma.
Knows, but that was just a tragedy in itself. 8 kids came here to America with nothing. It was just horrible. And unfortunately, my great-grandfather on that side died of a heart attack at a very young age. Because, how can you, that was just a tragedy in itself.
Yeah.
But
oh my gosh.
Anyway.
Well, congratulations on the book. It looks like you're doing really well. I found it on Amazon, and it just came out yesterday, so it's a brand new book. I have a copy of Lessons from My Grandfather that I would like to give away, so call me if you'd like the book. The rest of us have to go buy it. It's only $9.99 is the Kindle version. So I would recommend Amazon. Do you have a website that you've set up?
Yes, I do. So it's very simple. It's grandfatherlessons.com is my website, and there's a lot of information on the site, some of the pictures, endorsements, a sample chapter, and they can buy the book. Click on Amazon right through my site as well, or Kindle or iTunes.
And you have an awesome responsibility in your own self, sir, is that you are a role model for the rest of your family and extended families, and that has to be a heavy burden sometimes.
Well, I tell you, I'm very blessed in the way that I strive for excellence in life. Whether it was that boy shoveling the driveway with the snow, I'd shovel every corner. Whether it was delivering papers on time at 6:30 in the morning or 6 o'clock in the morning, even on Saturday, I'm very blessed that I just strive for excellence. I do it right or don't do it at all. My grandfather always said that too. And so I think just working hard and putting your head down and moving forward, but keeping an acknowledgement of people around you as well.
Is the faith a large part?
Yes, absolutely. My grandfather truly believed he had an angel on his shoulder. He always said that to me. He goes, Mark, I should have been dead so many times with what I went through in life and the hardships, and I was in World War II at one point. I won't get into that now, but he goes, I was very blessed my entire life, and good fortune to me. I had an angel on my shoulder. And I believe faith is very important. No matter what you believe in life or what God you believe in or don't believe in, having faith is an empowerment of just belief in yourself and belief in a higher being to some degree, but just belief. So that word faith is very powerful. Having faith things will work out.
Absolutely.
Having things will work out.
All right,
and forging forward.
Let me give this copy away. Good morning. You've got the book. Who's this?
Oh, this is Linda.
Linda, you've got it. It'll be waiting for you.
All right, thank you. Reminds me of my grandpa, too. He came here with nothing.
Oh, wow, nice. Well, yeah. I think you'll relate to the book. Thank you, Linda.
Yes, thank you.
The book.
Mark, I must tell you that when I offered the book, the thing lit up over here, so you've got a hit on your hands. Congratulations on that, and good luck with everything. And I feel like I wish I could have known Charlie.
And that's why I wrote the book, because I want a piece of Charlie and a big piece of him is in that book. So it's very wonderful to hear that from you. And again, I miss him every day of my life. And this is my gift to the world because he was such an amazing individual. So hopefully you do know more about him now.
Well, I'm sure he's proud of you, looking down from heaven. Thank you, Mark. Thank you for being on the show with us today.
Thank you so much to both of you. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. You too. We'll be right back.
All right.